Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the new Transparency Platform webinar. My name is Leonardo Grosso, and I will be your host for today. A few quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded, and later on it will be posted on YouTube. All the attendees will be muted. And we are going to be using Slido so that you're able to post your questions. If you want to follow up on questions or remarks, you can also drop your email name and company, and then we follow up with it. The rules are very simple. The questions, please keep them concise, and whenever you want a question or suggestion to be taken up in priority, you can vote it up in Slido itself. I will show you how it works in a few minutes. For today, we are going to have 3 speakers. One of them is me, and the other one will be Milan Kostov as a business service manager on ENTSO-E, and my colleague co-convener Daniel Ejido Simon. And we will have another speaker, which I will give the word in a moment, and that is our chair of the market committee. Chair of the market committee. Sorry for that. For the well, this is the agenda for today. I will be doing the introduction. As I said, I will give also the floor to our chair of the market committee, Oliver John. We will show you the new interfaces and the features it has. That will be done by Daniel. The technical aspects of the new transparency user interface, and also how do you say it? Also the background of the transparency platform, that will be done by Milan Kostov, and I will be back to show you or to present you the next steps and other updates. Well, the next step is indeed to give the word to our market committee chair. Oliver, please, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Leonardo, for this very nice introduction. And it's a great honor, I have to say, to be here and say a few words in the beginning. Let me maybe start by saying that as ENTSO-E or as TSOs across Europe, we are very proud of this transparency platform. It's a tool, it's a central platform that contains electricity market data essentially from all across Europe. And what we see is that it is actually used quite frequently. Like Leonardo, you will provide some more details on, how often that data is updated and on the users, on you participants of this webinar, I think. But if you allow me a personal consideration also, each time I see an analysis or a graph that is done based on the data that is on this platform, if you see a little subtitle very often, source ENTSO-E or source ENTSO-E transparency platform, that gives me, and I think that gives all of us at ENTSO-E a lot of confirmation that we are on the right track and providing something very useful to you, to the market. And we do not want to stop there. So we are continuously improving the platform, the underlying data, and the interface, the graphical user interface. That's going to be the core of today's session, because we look at this beyond our pure legal mandate. We are obviously required by law to set this transparency platform up, but we want to give something more than a pure legal fulfilling a pure legal requirement, and that is we want to support the daily life of all of you who are participating in this webinar, but of all of our users of this platform by enabling kind of analysis or that are done in a business or academic background, etc. So that's the purpose of today's session, that we present you the most recent improvements. That's the graphical user interface. We're going to provide you, Leonardo's just presented the agenda, a lot of background information on that. And the three of you, so Milan, Daniel, and Leonardo, of course, you are the three guys that are working behind the scenes on this transparency platform, the main protagonists, I would say, together with the teams, obviously, that are supporting you, that are making this transparency platform happening. So a big thank you also to the three of you and the teams in the background, of course. And I'm looking forward to this webinar, really. It's going to be, I understand, very interactive. We're going to have some Slido possibilities that people can interact with us. We can take questions and answer them. So I hope we're having a very interesting webinar, and I'm sure we will have. And I'm very much looking forward to this. And with having said that, I would like to hand back to you, Leonardo and colleagues. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Oliver, and thank you for your kind words for us and the team. And I am excited to get forward with this webinar, as I'm very curious about the reactions and how people are receiving this, and what their opinions will be on the new user interface. That being said, I would like to do a small exercise with Slido, where you can again scan the QR code, or at slido.com you can type the code over there and then participate in the questions and the polls to see if it's working well. It looks like it is. We have quite a lot. Well, the TSOs are the bigger part at this moment. 42. All right. It looks like it's working very well. I don't see, by the way, the power changes there, but I think we will have the whole statistics complete. Thank you very much for your participation on this one. Nisha, please let's go to the next slide. And again, this will be this is a poll, and it will be taken up also at the end of the webinar to see how what the feedback is and stuff. So this is how it's going to work. Data download API. That's a hot topic. Data quality. There are very quite a few topics that can be put together. Data quality is a big one and has really our focus. Data line generation and API. Yeah. All right. Governance. I see data for electricity system modeling and optimization. That's one of our purposes, actually. User friendliness. I hope I can. Daniel will show you that one on in a few moments. IIP, I see it there inside the information platform. Stability and performance. Thank you for your input. Please keep going along the webinar. We will be tracking it behind the curtains, let's say. I will take us over to the next part, which will be the overview of the transparency platform, going back a bit in time. Our regulatory framework. Transparency platform was established in 2015 to comply with the European Electricity European Commission mandate to make available and ensure compliance, to make available all the data needed in the market and ensure compliance for all the TSOs, data providers, and well, the whole market actually. On the platform, and I think you know what you can find, but for the people who are new to this, you will find data as load, aggregation, forecasts, actual generation, installed capacities, reporting to Remit, for example, will be the outages, the cross-zonal capacity, and well, quite a lot. Balancing, of course, reserves and prices, and all the metrics about it. The transparency platform is not only for Remit and transparency, for example, regulations, but also for the EBTL, energy balancing guideline, CACM, the SOGL, system operations guideline, and FCA, and of course everything you see on this on these slides. As I said, the whole webinar will be uploaded to YouTube to follow up if you want and to repeat it. And with this, well, this is how it looks like in the regulatory framework. What kind of legislation we are following up with this. A few statistics. We have at the moment about 64 data providers, but it is increasing. And the data providers are TSOs themselves, but also power exchanges and also other third parties. The platform receives daily between 150 and 170,000 files a day, which is, in comparison to the beginning in 2015, it's about 4 times. It's a 4-time increase of the data. We receive the data through the ECP, which is a specific network application to guarantee the confidentiality of it. Web services, I must say, FTPS, and of course the manual upload of documents. From now on, the new transparency platform, the upload of documents will be managed in another way, but Daniel will be taking you along the new features. These are the basics, statistics where we are building upon. So we need to be, or we need to look forward into the future to grow and make it better and enhance it. The transparency, well, two projects: the transparency platform redesign and the TP Vision projects are 2 very big pillars for us to work on to enhance the transparency platform. First, the TP redesign has upgraded the backend. I didn't come up with this word before, but this is what I meant. We are going to give you an idea on what happens in the backend. It needs to handle higher data volumes and updated frequencies, supporting timely delivery, for example, for the balancing platforms, and providing scalability and operational efficiency. The other project, the TP Vision, is the one responsible for this part, the user interface. Among other initiatives like setting up a transparency platform app, so you have it on your hands and you can use it wherever you are. And the enhancement also of the data quality reports, but not only the reports, is also to enhance the data quality. As I saw before, this is one of your focus and expectations from now on. To this, we have done, of course, our best to make it modern. It is. I will come back later on that, to make it modern and intuitive, with more harmonized workflows, and enhance the search and filtering. Also a question later on about the filtering and other features. And it is easier to use it from a tablet or a mobile device. The idea is to make it faster, better access, so you can have the needed data in a more easier way. Also, user interface where it's easier to get the data you want from start on. This is well, a comparison, as I said. We have done our best to make it newer, more modern. On the left side, the old transparency platform, actually the actual transparency platform, which is leading. In comparison to the new one, it looks somewhat different, and in my opinion, much better. Important things. The new interface is going to go live on the 12th of November, so in a few weeks. At the new, now, well, it's not the new, the transparency at ENTSO-E.eu URL. So the old one will be moved to another one, but they are going to be accessible anyway until the end of the year. So the current interface will be available at the web portal.tp.entso-e.eu. And as I said, both will be available. Historical data and then so yeah, new and historical data will be available on the new interface, but we will not take over the legacy publications. There are not so many, but we leave them on the old transparency platform. The links will be shared, of course. You will have this presentation, so you can also always contact us at transparency.entso-e.eu. We will give you all this information, contact information, later on in the webinar. this wraps up my introduction and overview part. So I will let Daniel to give you a walkthrough on the day-to-day interfaces and pages. So Daniel, please, this is your moment.
Thank you very much, Leonardo. Good morning, everybody. Hello, my name is Daniel, and I will be doing the introduction to the new interface of the transparency platform. Today is available in new transparency.entso.eu, and from 12 November will be available in the traditional link transparency.entso.eu. So this is the homepage where we can see the map of Europe. One of the main features of this page is the selection of a country or area in the map. This is more intuitive than in all page where we have a list of countries. Now with the map is, well, more intuitive to choose the region you want to consult. In the upper right corner, in the blue bar, we can find the time zone selection and the signing process. In the time selection, we can choose among UTC, Central East Europe, East Europe, or West Europe time, accordingly to the needs of everyone. And we can sign with the user and password as always. No change were added on this. Signing can be done in every moment of the navigation because the blue bar will be always present. As you know, it's not necessary to have credentials for visiting the page, but I think it's quite recommendable and it's totally free. Signing, the user can have more detail of the information or save its favorites, as we will see later and during the presentation. Now, at the bottom of the page, in the green banner, we can find the news section, please. Sorry. We can watch the title of the last news. And clicking on the banner, we can access to the news and the list of news. It's quite relevant to visit it because it's the way for communicating every chain affecting users, new developments, new release, maintenance periods, incidents, modification in the servers. Coming back to the map, we can choose between countries, bidding zones, or control areas. For people who do not know the difference, countries, according to the geographical distribution, bidding zones are areas which share one only price without the need for cross-zonal capacity allocation. And a control area is the area controlled by one TSO. For example, Norway or Sweden have different bidding zones into one control area, or in Germany, we can find 4 control areas. Also, we have the bar for searching the items. This is quite useful if we know at least one word of the item we are looking for. Because we can go directly to the publication without need of navigation. If not, we can navigate through the menu, as we will see later. Well, this was the home page, and now we are going to see the general features and options that we have for every publication. When we go into publication, we are going to find different buttons, options that I'm going to describe now. We have the info icon for more information. clicking on it, we can see a table. It's a table with a test, regulation requirement, specification of calculation, who is the data provider, or the deadline for the publication. This test is exactly the content of the DDDs, data detail description, that we have in the last version of the manual of procedures that we can find in the web in the corporative web of ENTSO-E at this moment. We also have an arrow for hiding the map if we feel more comfortable or opening again. And we can choose the way of representing data. In general, there are two options, table or map. Graphical or table. There is a third option. It's the map view, but it's only available for some publications related to transmission or market. But in general, in all publications, we will find the two options, graphical view and table. On the right side, we can find an icon with three dots. It's an action button where we can choose three options. Copy a permalink. This is very useful for sharing your view with other people. We can add the view to the favorites, and we can consult in a future visit. Or we can export data in different formats: PDF, Excel, CSV, JPG, XML. Remember that we need to be logged for downloads, or otherwise the web page will request to log in before start to download the information. Well, in this slide, we are presenting information about filtering of data. Personally, this is one of the best improvements in this page. In the new interface, filtering is going to be more intuitive, friendly, and quick. The filter can be different depending on the software data. For example, in this slide, we can have a list of categories with different colors, and we can choose which of them must be solved clicking on the category. Other times, we can have a filter icon on the right side of the table, and we can filter column by column, typing a test or selecting a category. In this slide, we are showing explanatory notes. This is a text that a data provider decided to publish in order to explain some criteria of publication or how this data must be interpreted. Depending of the information, because it's very specific of the data providers and the publication, and some clarification of data software. In this interface, we will have also the selection of dates. In general, we can select a period no longer than 7 days. Or some publications are prepared for selecting only 1 day. In the graphical view, with the bottom bar that we have under the graph, we can, let's say, make zoom, modifying the start and the end button. we can reduce the period and make zoom on the graph. Of the interface, of this new interface, is that some publications allow the comparison between two regions. This is something totally new, probably to be extended to more publications in the future. Then we can now that comparison between areas is available because in this dark blue button we will see select multiple areas. Let's go to next. And finally, some data can be represented in a map view, as I commented before. Here you can see a pair of examples for energy prices and physical flows. So here you have the option or the button for representing this data in the map view. Probably this option will be extended to other publications in the future. Well, with this, we have finished the general features of the new interface, and now I would like to speak about the organization of the publications, because it's likely different to the old interface. In the home page, from the map, doing scroll down, we can see the different domains or the main menu. When we click on one domain, at the right, we have the list of items or publication under this domain. Clicking on the item, we go to the representation of data. The menu with the different domains will be always present during the navigation, and we can choose a different publication in every moment. As you can watch in this slide, please well, it's the same. As you can watch in this slide, we can see 8 domains, and we are going to visit quickly every one of these domains in order to show what is new and what is not new in the new interface. So let's start with the market domain. This domain is totally new, but publications are not new. Under this domain, we can find a market process that in the old interface we have in transmission domain. Explicit auctions, explicit allocations, energy prices, congestion income, offer capacity, energy prices. Now, this information, let's say inputs and outputs from the market process, are showed in the new market domain. Load domain. Well, same publications than in all interface, but now weekly, monthly, and yearly forecasts are combined in a single view or single item, where we can choose the horizon here, selecting week, month, or year. By default, the forecast is always compared with the minimum and maximum value of the total forecast, and we can filter among the 4 categories: minimum, maximum, forecast, or actual. Something very similar has been implemented with NTC forecast in transmission domain. Here we have the graphical view of the yearly forecast compared with the actual load. By placing the mouse over the graph, we can watch the values of the 4 categories. Generation domain. The list of the items are the same than in the old interface, but I would like to draw your attention to the new charts, specifically in actual generation by production type, where we have many categories. Now this graph is more dynamic. We can filter by production type. On the graph, you have all categories, and you can click on every category if you want to show it or not. And after select a period, select and start and end date, we can move the start and the end button. Just on the bar we have under the graph, and we can make zoom on the graph. This is something new, very, very interesting. And this do the graph more dynamic. Well, transmission domain contains information related to interconnections, NTC forecast, physical flows, scheduled commercial exchange, and information coming from the all congestion management domain in the all platform. Basically, information related to counter trading and redispatching. In all interface, this information has a specific domain, but now is going to be in transmission domain. When you select a country in the home page or in the general map, you select a country or an area, information of all available borders will be shown. In general, we will be able to filter by border or direction. As I commented before, forecasts of NTC have been combined in one single view, in one item, and we can choose the horizon, as I already commented, very similar in the LOA domain. And in the map here for physical flows, we can choose the representation in the map view, and you have a bar, and moving the blue button, we are modifying the data according to the market time unit. Outage domain, more or less, well, it's the same list of publications that we have in the old GUI. Representation of outage in the Gantt chart is new, as well as the use of new colors for distinguishing the type of the outage. Balancing domain. Well, at this moment, the map selection is not available for balancing publications. It's necessary to write the name of the control area in the bar, just on the map. And the items of this domain are pending reorganization or grouping, as we have in the all interface. What is new? Prices for energy balancing in 15 minutes resolution and 4-second resolution have been combined in only one view. Or for balancing energy, we can find different kind of aggregations that can be selected by the user. We can select aggregation per recipe type, per product type, or full aggregation. Or also we can filter per recipe type or per product type. In general, balancing is a good domain for using and try the new filters. Well, this is the domain of operations. It's very similar to the publications we have in all interface, and I don't have anything new to highlight in this slide. And finally, the OMI domain. This domain is totally new. For people who do not meet REMIT regulation, 7 TSOs have chosen a transparency platform as inside information platform. The publication of OMI, other market information, contain events that are different than audits and need a free text for explanation. This information must be published according to REMIT regulation because it can be relevant for the markets and for the participants. At this moment, ENTSO-E is in conversations with Acer in order to complete the process of registration of the TP as inside information platform. Basically, these OMI messages have an start period, an end period, and a test that is displayed when we click on this box under column of comments. So now we are ending this part of the presentation. We have finished the list of domains and publication, and I have 2 points about very specific information. The first point is that a registered user can obtain information of data providers. For example, publication with 2 data providers, let's say cross-border physical flow, where 2 TSOs publish data in general. The user previously registered, clicking on the value, can watch the values communicated by both TSOs. Something very similar happens with historical values communicated by one data provider, for example, total load. Clicking on the value, we can watch the data provider, but clicking on the blue value, the user can watch at least the different versions of the value communicated for the same market time unit. Well, this to highlight that these options are only available if the user is registered on the platform. This is quite new and it's something that was requested by different users. The second point is the discontinuation of legacy pages. These legacy pages are all views not adapted for a new version of the manual of procedures. The legacy views try to facilitate the publication of information when some data providers were not able to update to the new manual. In the new interface, legacy pages will not be available, but data will be kept in archive. Detailed information will be available in the help page. For example, in balancing, there are 2 legacy views for accepted aggregated offers and activated balancing energy according to transparency regulation. Electricity balance guideline replace this both publication with aggregated balancing energy bits. So from now, no more publications will be showed under accepted aggregated offers and activated balancing energy. because all this information must be available in aggregated balancing energy bits. And with this, I am finishing the presentation of the new GUI, only to invite you to visit it and to use it. And if any hesitate, please contact with the TP team that we will share later. We will share the address for consulting hesitates. Thank you very much.
So I guess it's my turn. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to have you here today. My name is Milan Kostov. I'm the Business Services Manager at ENTSO-E Secretariat. And today I will present to you our new file library for the transparency platform. What we all know from experience is that there are many use cases for using data downloads from the transparency platform. Like, for instance, we have researchers who are downloading physical flows data for modeling. We have traders downloading and analyzing price correlations across the borders. We have even many prosumers who are downloading data on the energy prices, trying to amend their consumption profiles. What we want to do here with this new feature is really improve the way that all of these different use cases are supported by data downloads with a system that is easier to use, faster, more scalable, and really future-proof. So I take the chance on the next slides to show you a bit why we are here, why we're making this change, what are the benefits, and really how to prepare for this. So historically, the transparency platform is providing the information through FTP, through SFTP. And then the format is CSV files. And then, as we know, CSV files are really human readable and also machine processable. With our new feature here, the file library, we are still going to maintain the CSV files. We are going to maintain this technology. So all of this is still there. And then we aim to avoid the problem with additional separate clients. We are still going to keep the functionality to enable bulk data downloads. And we are looking really to move to a new technology that is not separate from the transparency platform itself, but more providing an integrated experience. On this slide, we make an overview of our existing data communication channels. And what we already have is the website graphical user interface, the API, and the subscriptions channel. All of these, you are already familiar with them. We are trying not to make any changes in the way they behave. And the biggest change is the file management system, where in this file library, as we call it, we have the graphical user interface and we have an API. So all of these channels, they have different purposes, different use cases, and going in parallel to see where are the benefits and where they're lacking some features. The website, as we all know, is very nice when you want to quickly browse some data, when you want to use charts or maps, or maybe to export some data rapidly for short periods. But the data exports are maximum for 1 year, and it really depends on the data item. Then again, you can upload several areas, up to 3 areas at a time. And the biggest benefit is that whatever data we have in real time is already published on the graphical user interface. Where we are falling behind a bit as a functionality is that it's difficult for users to understand when there are updates to the data that is on the GUI. So it's difficult to keep track, and really in a visual way, there is no good scenario how to do that. So what you want to do if you want to achieve machine-to-machine communication and really to be able to download files, work with high bandwidth, and process it in another platform, you want to use the API or the subscriptions, where the difference between them is that with the API, you have no chance to actually also find out if there are new data updates. And with the subscriptions, since it uses a push method, you can get all data updates when they arrive to the transparency platform. And of course, all data is real time. These channels, of course, they are not really suitable for end users because they work with XML files, and then XML files, unless you are very tech savvy and into the XML documents, they're not really comfortable to work with. So our feature, the file library, it aims here to maintain the things which people are used to. So the CSV format, the access to the files. And then what it gives as a benefit is that it has bigger periods. It has data in same files for more areas and borders. It has a feature which you can see what are the latest data updates. So it's very easy to navigate. And then it's also possible to download in a more automated way, to download the CSV files and analyze them. Let's go to the next one. So of course, what we expect is that people are asking the question, okay, but why do we need to make this change? Why are we moving from FTP to this file management system? And then we made this little overview to compare the differences and why we're doing this. So with SFTP, every user who wants to connect to the SFTP needs to have a dedicated third-party application to connect. And then in many instances, there are users who cannot install these clients due to company software policy, and then they're having difficulties accessing the files. And then it's more difficult through the user interface to gather longer periods of data. So these users are having the difficulty to get the data that they need, especially if they need to do this rapidly. Then SFTP is based on a classical, very old technology now, which has, of course, limited scalability. It's not integrated in the platform. It has many limitations. One of them is that you cannot get any kind of filtering or automated access to the metadata of the files. And last but not least, with SFTP, things are more or less monolithic, and then it limits the features that we can further implement, both technical security, but also interesting features for the end user who is using the interface or the API. On the other end, with the file library, we get a unified experience. You can go to the file library through the interface, and it feels like it's part of the application itself. So this is very nice. It provides a nice graphical user interface, and it's all built on, and it's all built on modern technologies with cloud-based, with high resilience, with high reliability. So all of this is there by design. And you have access to the metadata of the files. And last but not least, it's future-proof, where we can add additional new features. Like, for instance, we're already planning to do key API authentication. Let's go to the next one. Now, this is a glimpse of the user interface for those of you who haven't yet seen it. It's quite nice, but even to get to the interface, you need to be registered. So you need to pass through the top right corner on your screen. You need to go to your profile. And then from there, you select the file library. And then it has two views. The file browser mode is very similar to the current experience that we are having with the SFTP. And then the table mode shows you really the updates of the data. What you can do, which is really nice, you can use the filtering on the GUI to already pre-select some files and some periods which you are interested in. So this is a feature which definitely you cannot achieve on FTP. And then it still maintains this nice functionality where you can select, do you want to download single files, multiple files, do you want to download an archive. So this is working really nice. Okay, let's move to the next one. Then even better, the nice feature about the file library is that you can use an API to access the files. And then you can even achieve a lot more automations, which are more difficult to do with the FTP. Now, how this works is that in the beginning, you need to authenticate yourself. So you need to retrieve an authentication token. You do that with your credentials, of course. Once you do that, you can list the folder contents, and then you can apply, if you want, sorting or filtering on these results that you're going to receive. you're able to get the name, the path, the file ID, and also last update and timestamp. Then you have an endpoint where you can get the file metadata, which is very useful if you want to do some further filtering or some pre-selection. And at the end, of course, you have the endpoint where you can download files directly in CSV and zip formats. Now, to make this all very easy, understandable, accessible to users with examples, with testing, with samples, all of this documentation is collected on our knowledge base. So it's available for you. We try to make it up to date all the time. And of course, all the documentation is also pushed to our Postman collection, where you can play around with it. Maybe let's see the next slide. So in terms of API and accessing the endpoints, Postman is really your friend. It's very easy to work with. It's very comfortable. And then already with one click, you can already import the entire collection in your own account. You have to set up your environment. Again, you need to provide your credentials to be able to continue. And then you can start to play around with the API to run sample queries and to see what are the results which the platform will return. The best part about Postman is that at the end, you are able to generate all kinds of queries in different languages, such as Python or curl. And then you can test this functionality already before you integrate in your production scripts. Now, apart from the nice features of how to access the file library, how to download files, there is also a change in the formats that we are using. The change was dictated by our desire a bit to streamline and remove duplicates. As you can see on the example on the left, there are a lot of duplicates between country, bidding zone, and control area. To remove those duplicates, lower the size, increase the speed at which downloads are processed. We are implementing this in a collated way in one attribute. And then the other benefit that we also introduced in the data format is that we tried here to add more clarity on the time zone, which is applied to the data, and also to add the measurement units. A very important point which everyone needs to note is that with this change, right now, we maintain both formats. So the old formats which existed for a long time and everyone is already very accustomed to them. So they're still there. And also we built the new extracts with the new format, which is with _R3. Here, what we need to pay attention, and you all need to take this into account, is that these old formats, they would remain for a limited amount of time until the end of this month. This was already announced 20 days ago in the beginning of October, but pay attention, these formats are changing. So you need to migrate your scripts, your applications to the new data formats. So this slide is a bit of a recap, and it's kind of a key takeaway. If you remember something of this presentation, let it be this. SFTP is getting discontinued, formats are changing, all of this is now nearing completion, nearing the transition time. So what we do, we invite you to really go access the file library, check the API, make sure that the new formats are clear, understandable, make sure that your existing integrations, they're compatible with the new formats. And if you have to, get in touch with us, ask your questions. If something doesn't work or you have some difficulties, you're welcome to ask. On one of the next slides, we have a slide how to reach out the service desk, so you're welcome to do that. And with this, I thank you for the attention to this topic. We're happy to answer any questions at the end. And I give back the word to Leonardo.
Leonardo, you are muted.
Sorry for that, I was muted. I see some reactions on the screen that people are liking what they see and what the information they get. So I'm glad for it. Thank you again for your attention. I will take you now through to the next slide that will be about the manual of procedures. You have heard, of course, quite a lot of times that the manual procedure is something we follow up, and at this very moment, the manual procedure, the latest version will be version 3, revision 5. If I'm not mistaken, it's coming up live on the ENTSO-E page very soon, if it's not there already. But we are presenting in this case the implementation roadmap. At this moment, we are following up, and we're trying to make it work in a way that everybody is aligned and are not delayed with their implementation. So we keep a more let's say mandated, or not obligated, but we urge everybody to follow up on the revisions as the transparency platform will be enhanced accordingly. Let me see. It is as always. It will be the manual procedures will be communicated through the common channels. No differences there, so you will find it in the same place as always. Sorry, Nijat, you can go forward. The next topic is the user communications. What we do is we have an ENTSO-E transparency platform user group, and within this group there is the co-creation user group. The overarching group, the ETUC, as we call it short, meets twice a year, and so we cover also the behavior and the impacts of the manual procedures. What will be the release planning of, for example, changes, and also to gather information about what the user experience is. With the co-creation user group, we meet every quarter, and we check and we gather user experience once again, but more in more detail. And we also invite them to test new features. And with this, I would like to invite you all to get involved in these groups. Whenever you find you have a suggestion for us to enhance the platform, please reach out, as we are keen to know more about it and see how can we better the functionality of the transparency platform. Transparency at ENTSO-E.eu, and all the materials, of course, are available on the website. With this, we are also introducing a newsletter. It will be a issuing covering the releases, everything we are doing, enhancing, and what will be the new publications or changes to it, user group meetings and workshops. Surveys are also possible. So if you want to subscribe to it, you have a QR code on the screen, or you can, of course, sign up through the website. And with that, we can keep you in the loop in a automated way, let's say. For support, Again, the same email address, transparency@entso-E.eu, for whatever inquiry you may have. You're welcome there to send your insights, your questions, remarks, suggestions, whatever you need. And we'll, of course, we'll keep involved and do our best to give you an enhanced experience with the transparency platform. The next slides will bring you to the Q&A or polls. So please go back to Slido, scan the QR code, and let us know what your suggestions are. And we are going to take notes and use the able to facilitate it or to talk about it in the user groups, but also in other groups involved. I see some notes that I have seen already on the questions. We will get back later on that. I see some questions that I will have no answer at this very moment, but we will note it down and get back to you. So for a follow-up, please fill in your email address, your name and company, and then we will get back to you, or just send an email with the questions to the transparency@entso-E.eu email address, and we'll get back to you. Other formats, as I see. I think we talked about it already, but we can of course go back to it. There are some very nice questions and suggestions there. Thank you for that. These questions will be addressed later on. Well, in a few moments. So on the next slide, we will have a poll with, again, word clouds. Well, which topics do you want to have added on next events? Or even for the newsletters, of course. The API is really a hot item. More women in the panel. Very good one. More API content, more API formats. Variables. Curious about that. Codes. Thank you very much for your inputs. As you know, it will not be lost just because I am not able to answer any or maybe some questions at this very moment, but we will get back to you and will not forget these topics. Thank you for that. And now we get to the Q&A. Along the whole event, we kept the Q&A tab open on Slido for you to post your questions, and we have done our best to answer them in parallel. So as you say, if we are planning to share the whole webinar on YouTube, but also the slides will be available. That's a long answer. For the second one, is the Postman collection as documentation for the API going to get an efficiency upgrade? Once all data items have been migrated to the new architecture, we will update the Postman collection with new example responses. The structure of the API requests is expected to remain unchanged. Okay, the third one, where select country first if changing category to, for example, balancing override selection and random area is used, then change back to market and random again. This happens because area data hasn't yet been migrated to the new architecture. So as you see, there are some topics that in the backend needs to be arranged. This will happen or is happening at this very moment. From the moment we are live on the 12th of November, this kind of bugs, if I may say so, will be addressed and solved. The RSS feeds will be held live on the new version. Is it possible to select more than 2 areas at once? Yes, but it all depends on the data views. That will be enhanced along the way. So we are working on it. So every feature is available on every on every domain and topic. We see filtering, a great idea, but it's glitching a lot currently. The same, it should be solved by the at the moment the TP goes live. We are on question 7. The transparency platform is a legally mandated platform, and we published legally mandated data. Other aggregations or other kind of modeling will not be done by us, by the transparency platform team. What do you profile library? CSV. Is there a plan to eventually deprecate one of these interfaces? No, there is no plan at the moment to do so. Next slide. As I said, for example, for Q9, at this moment this also a very good suggestion, and we will take a look because we don't have an answer at this very moment. So we will take a look and let you know in another way via email if we have your contacts or through the newsletter. These are, as I see, long answers, and we have only 5 minutes. So I will go through these ones a little bit faster, so I don't take much more of your time. You will get this information anyway. Let me see if we have some short answers in the next one. Nijat, please. Downloading a lot of data at the time, CSV formats to elaborate them together in customized way is very useful for us. Can you keep this opportunity? Yes. All right. I hope you had a good time with us. You liked the content. I saw some very good reactions. Critical reactions are also very welcome as they help us improve. And with that said, on behalf of the ENTSO-E Transparency Platform team, thank you for joining today. And thank you for your very good questions and insights. And we hope the new interface update helps you in your day-to-day work. Please subscribe to the newsletter to be informed and collaborate with us through the user groups. Thank you very much, and have a great day.